All right, we're going to bring a quick one to you today with an alert on Zone. They had a new SEC filing over last Friday. I did a post about it. Maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. This morning we're seeing the results of that. So we're going to talk about that. But before we get going, check out the channel memberships, especially that's the Lag My level where you get the real-time trade posts and members only videos where you see how exactly I am navigating these markets. And let's get into this. So Zone. All right, first of all, they had a new SEC filing. Let me find it. Here it is. This is the SEC filing. This is from September 19th. I did a post about this thing right away on that day that I noticed it. And this morning we're seeing a significant, and I mean significant, dump as a result. So let me just read the most important thing. On September 3rd, 2025, we received a written consent from stockholders to approve an amendment and restatement of our articles of incorporation to, among other things, remove the dual class structure of our common stock and increase the number of shares of common stock that we are authorized to issue to 6,942,000,000 shares. Currently, we're at 14 million, by the way. And amendment number 3 to the 2022 equity incentive plan to increase the shares reserve to 25 million, which they were getting pretty close to. Okay, those are the things to consider. They have authorized themselves to issue almost 7 billion shares. Let that sink in for a second. Currently, they're at 14 million. Now, they might be a bit higher than that now, as they were authorized, and the stock was down 20% at open this morning. So yeah, that's that. They're going to dilute. They're going to dilute heavily, and unless Dogecoin does an exceptionally intense rally, or they get some significant celebrity investment from some big time names, some big names, big institutions outside of the House of Doge and Doge Foundation, they're going to flounder until that happens. All right. So that's that. Dilution risk came through, and we saw a 20% dip this morning. Just this morning, it touched. Where did it touch? It touched 181 this morning. While the market was open, while it was closed, that was the lowest it got. 181. Okay. Where does that coincide with back here? Let's go back to the daily. Where does that coincide with back here? Oh, look at that. All right, so we went solidly into this structure here. If we come any lower than 145, which is a significant drop from where we are right now, I'd say 165. We lose 165, we're going down to 125, possibly even $1. So pay attention to that. If you are freaking out about this news, that means that you bought too much Zone. That's what that means. If you're looking at this and you're saying, and you're losing any sleep over it, that means you bought too much. And stop doing stuff like that. That's insane. This thing was a gamble. It was always a gamble. Still is a gamble. Even at these prices, it's a gamble. It could drop another 50% in a day, honestly, and it has before. It could again. So relax. This is not going to be like a BMNR, which is also down like 5 or 6% or something today. Let me bring it up and take a look real quick. BMNR, where are you? There it is. Boom, 6% today. It's not going to be like that. It's going to do 3 times as much, because unlike having Ethereum as the underlying asset, this thing has Dogecoin. And if we go to Dogecoin right now, Dogecoin is down 8% today, meaning we're down 14, 20%. ETH is down 6% today, meaning BMNR is down about 6-ish percent, maybe a little more today. All crypto is down today. Look at this. This is all brutal. But it's going to be okay, and we'll look at that real quick at the end here. So Zone, and of course nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. You got to be responsible for your own risk, do your own research. You could lose it all, so it's really important that you understand what you're holding and have an idea of where you would get rid of it, to the upside and to the downside. Always be prepared. Okay, so if you're losing sleep over this, that just means you bought too much. Okay, if you've got a $100 portfolio and Zone is making up more than $1 of that $100 portfolio, you've got about the right amount if it's $1. If it's more than $1, you've probably got too much. You might want to think about, okay, how can I protect capital? Do I want to wait for a bounce? Is this already down too much and I just don't want to deal with it anymore? These are decisions you need to make. These are decisions you need to have already thought of before even buying this thing. And that's that's true with any investment. So I'm not saying that this thing's going to continue to fall. I'm not saying that it's over yet. I'm not saying that, Dogecoin isn't going to turn around and rally here tomorrow or the next day. I'm saying this thing dropped 20%. It's down 50% from where I got in. So my shares are down 50% right now. I'm not immune to this either. But I also kept it down to, I kept it down to an amount of money where I won't lose sleep losing all of it. Okay, that's the truth. I kept it down to about an amount of money, which was a little bit more than 1% of the portfolio, but where if I were to lose all of it, it really wouldn't be that impactful on me overall. And I went into this thing knowing it could be zero or hero, and it looks like at this moment, it's currently performing as a zero. And that is something that was always possible and may not continue, which is why I went into the gamble expecting big drawdowns, expecting big bounces up. And right now we're experiencing one of those big drawdowns, and largely due to the greed of the company. And I think it's funny that they've got written consent from the stockholders to approve it, because only one person needed to approve this, and that was, I believe, the CEO that holds 60% voting rights. So they just made that decision. It wasn't like, oh, the shareholders, one person decided this. And that is another thing you need to be aware of. That's another extra risk on zone. There are insiders own about 80% of this stock, and they can dump on us pretty hard or dilute on us pretty hard. That's the nature of businesses like this, and it will probably remain that way for a bit until they bring in some institution or some big investor. They attract them, and that individual or organization says, you're going to have to do some restructuring here because I don't like that, a small group of people can dump on me. So currently those are the two risks. Dilution and insider ownership is very, very high on Zone. So what are we doing about this? Nothing. I'm not doing anything about this. I'm considering maybe scaling back the position that I have to be an even smaller part of my portfolio. I am considering that. That's in there. It's jumping around in my brain a little bit because I would like to get it down to, about 1% or less of the portfolio. So not that I'm losing sleep over the amount that I do have, because I'm not. But if it looks like it's going to fall to $1 from here, why not? And the amount that I'd hold would still be significant if it does the heights that I think Dogecoin is capable of. So these are all decisions you got to make on your own, honestly. Let's take a look at Dogecoin real quick. Dogecoin did a real quick dip down about, I was looking at this yesterday, I was thinking that seems about right. Right down to this spike on the volume profile in a bounce, so that's good. If we can get back above 26 cents, 26.58 cents, this thing will rip again, and that'll be nice. We came kind of for this trend line here, which is also not concerned. As long as it doesn't break the trend line here, this white one going up, as long as it doesn't break that trend line going up, I'll draw it real quick. I'm really not concerned right here. As long as it doesn't break that, I'm really not concerned about it. Okay. Bitcoin ended up being a little head and shoulders, and it came back down to about support on that head and shoulders, which is shown by this support over here. Came back to about that. Didn't quite hit anything on the volume profile. It could go as low as 11.2 and possibly even touch this trend line right here, which it broke this one. So this up move right now, this is done. This little up move right there, that's over. It broke it. As long as it stays down here today, it will hit this thicker line there at some point in the coming days. And from there, I'm expecting a bounce. If I don't get a bounce there, then I'm going to start thinking about how Bitcoin could potentially be in trouble at that point in time, and that only at that point in time, because that, my friends, is the neckline of this head and shoulders that I showed you on the weekly. And let's go ahead and draw that. Look at that on the weekly after I drew it. So that is the weekly one. And there's a head and shoulders there. Look at that. Oh, beautiful weekly head and shoulders. We lose this white line. This thing could drop hard, fast, and far. All right. So don't discount this line right here. That's the neckline on a head and shoulders on the weekly pattern. Okay. Much like back here in January 2025, this line right here at 94,000 was the neckline for a double top that did complete its pattern. Not quite. It got pretty close to completing its pattern, but not all the way down before going higher again. So in this case, if we lose that line, yeah, it could come down, and it could come down pretty hard. It could come down as low easily as low as 87, but it might only come down to 95, 96, and then turn around again for a final push. That's very possible. So be aware of those things. It's something to pay attention to. Right now, we're at a critical juncture. Now, this could be the fake out before the breakout because Bitcoin loves that. Bitcoin loves to do that. So currently, I'm staying long and strong. I'm not concerned. I'm looking for a bounce off this line. And then, boom, continuation to the upside. That's where I'll be loading up on IBIT calls, on more minor calls, those sorts of things. As soon as I see it try to lift off of this line or get back up above the neckline on this little head and shoulders here, which is here. I'll show it to you. Which, well, I have it drawn right there. It's right here at 115.5. So as soon as it gets back up above that, or it bounces nicely off of that trend line there, which currently is at about 110.6. As soon as either of those things happen, I'm looking to go even harder and longer. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Don't sleep on the channel memberships if you want to see how I'm navigating these markets. Get into that stalagmite level. The other 2 levels gets you the badges, the emojis, early access to videos while they're processing up to HD, and priority to reply to comments, as well as if you're in stalactite, member shoutouts. Anyways, have a profitable day.